Hey everyone! We got some big changes coming to the channel. I'm starting to take things a little somewhat seriously. Yeah. But first, how about a little music to go along with the occasion? Don't get too excited, Jack. This is probably the only time you're going to hear anything from Fantasy Star 3 on here. It does have really good music. Not keyed on the game, but this is Fantasy Star 3, The Ground Arranged. Pretty cool track. So, I've been at this for a little over 12 years now, right? For the longest time, I stuck with the same name, Honky Kong 73. I changed it recently to 64 because it was a little funnier, like Donkey Kong 64, haha. And the most important thing I've done is finally switched to a daily format of uploading. Or rather, I upload a ton of stuff at once, but then schedule things so that they only come out one thing per day. And it's worked well so far, I think. I've gotten many more. You know what? Let me turn this down just a little bit. There we go. I think that's okay. Now then, it's gotten me more views. I've gotten at least one like every day, so that's been cool. Which I know that doesn't sound like much, right? But you gotta remember, I'm a much smaller YouTuber, and I tend to not take things terribly seriously. At least when it comes to making content for this channel, so stuff like that really means the world to me. But I'll get to that a little bit later. Now, it's time to go over what kind of big changes are we going through here. Kill this. Ba-bam! So, we're going through some name changes. The first thing on the list is changing the channel name. We are now Super Retro. I say we, but this is now Super Retro Theater. I cannot believe this name was not taken. I'm taking it. It's the name is the old name is gonna stick around for a few more days to give people a chance to see this, so that they don't get surprised when they see channels from a video called from a channel called Super Retro Theater all of a sudden. Wonder what the hell that came from. The old name served its purpose, but it's. I want this to sound like a channel now. Like I want it to have a proper channel name, and not just like someone's username slapped on a channel, right? If I was more of a character, I could probably get away with just a name, like just a username, but I can't. So, in an effort to try and make us a tiny bit more serious as in like I'm actually trying with the channel. This is like the biggest thing that had to change, right? But yeah, we're gonna stay as Honky Kong 64 for a few days to make sure everybody figures it out. And I have to say, I know I made a video about this a couple months ago, talking about my thoughts on this, but I'm really digging the retro focus of the channel. It's brought me more joy to play all these old games, try these challenges, play these mods and randomizers and stuff like that. Just really cool. It's been so much fun. It's helped me to stay motivated. It's given me a reason to play all these old consoles I bought, right? A chance for me to use all my old cartridges. It's so cool. So 95% of the channel going forward, which is pretty much what I said before, I think, is going to be retro and what I would call retro adjacent. By retro adjacent, I mean stuff that's like old games that have fan patches, mods. You know, if there's like a translation patch or something that gives it a nice quality of life or something like that to an old ROM or something. Modern remasters, you know, like the GoldenEye remaster that came out on with Rare Replay and on Switch and whatnot. Not the GoldenEye game that came out like 10 years ago on, was it Wii? Or whenever it was. No, whenever it was. Like an actual just like remaster of the N64 version. Jankiness and all, although this controls much better. Or games with like a sort of what I would call a retro soul to them. Like even a modern game like or something that was made more recently like Shovel Knight, right? Or Micro Mages, or just something along those lines. Something that feels like it could be retro or something. Or maybe something with even like that has a nicer, cleaner, modern look, but has like an old school feeling. Like a modern dungeon crawler, or maybe even something like Battle Brothers or something. But still, even then, it's going to be mostly the easy to identify retro stuff, right? Stuff we can all agree is retro. But what is retro anyway? Retro, everybody's going to have a different definition, right? Some might say, oh, it's like, NES and before and stuff like that. Or they might say, PS1 and before. The way I look at retro, it's like, to me, it's anything that came out before I was out of high school. Which actually includes a lot more systems than I thought, because I was like, okay, I guess the cutoff is the Dreamcast. But then it turns out systems like Game Boy Advance, the PS2, GameCube, the original Xbox, those all came out in like 2001 or something. And that makes the cutoff date. So I'm like, does that really count though? Because those don't necessarily feel retro, but then I had to question, like, how retro does Dreamcast feel, right? It looks pretty good. Even by today's standards, it looks pretty okay. So I don't know. But for now, I'm considering Dreamcast the cutoff. For now, I may expand a little bit and start including the systems that were made before I left high school. We'll see. It's subjective. I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that though. Still might play some newer stuff, but it's the same category, or like kind of the same lines of like, well, not along the same lines as retro adjacent, but like there's a couple of projects I've wanted to do for a while, like a full Dead Space playthrough of the series, or Mass Effect. Maybe do a modded Oblivion run sometime or something, but these are in the like the I've got nothing better to do pile or whatever, right? Except for, like, the most likely thing I'd do with that list is probably Mass Effect. We'll see. Just because I've always wanted to do that, and the last time I tried, I just gave up. Or again, something like Battle Brothers, just because it has that old soul to it. The only footage of modern stuff I'm going to guarantee at this point is stuff for the All Elite Wrestling game that's coming out sometime. Because I've been looking forward to this game for a while, and I want a good wrestling game. Like, a really good wrestling game. But more on that later. So, the name Retro Request is also being changed. It is now going to be Retro Showcase. I haven't gotten as many requests for a while, and the name Retro Request is kind of... I'm kind of over the name by now, because it doesn't really fit the vibe of what I'm doing. Because there's a lot of times where I'm just picking stuff myself. Now the showcase, the Retro Showcase, will be limited to just retro games in their original form. No patches, mods, and nothing retro adjacent. This is something that was on Super Nintendo. This is something that was on PS1, on NES, on Dreamcast, whatever. And when possible, we're going to be playing it on the original hardware, or at least like premium alternative hardware, like the analog system specifically. And when possible, we use actual cartridges, but most of the time we're going to be using EverDrives and ODEs, which is close enough to the real thing. It's a lot better than emulation, and it's still on hardware, so it's close enough. So that's that Retro Showcase. Assuming I remember to change the names, when I was uploading the new videos that are coming up for Retro Request, I named them Super Retro Theater because that's what I was originally going to call Retro Request now, but I decided to name the channel that instead and came up with a Retro Showcase for this. So I got to remember to change the names to that. So you should start seeing those in a day. Yeah, like tomorrow you should start seeing them. On the 4th, you should start seeing the first Retro Showcase game, and it's a doozy, or at least for me. I had a lot of fun with it. And there's like 8 days after that of Retro Showcase, and then we have a special Let's Play. Speaking of Let's Plays, I want to change the name of Let's Play, but I don't know what to. Like, Let's Play is a name that everybody uses, it's easy to recognize. If I can't think of anything better, we'll just stick with it. This one isn't super important, but I'm looking for suggestions of what to call Let's Plays now. I had thought about like SRT plays, as in Super Retro Theater plays, something like that. I briefly thought about Steve plays, but how many people know me as Steve? You're more likely to know me as Honky, right? So I don't know. If you just want to leave it just Let's Play, let me know. If you got a suggestion, let me know. I would really appreciate any help with this for ideas. Maybe I'll come up with one myself. I don't know. Other series and stuff. So I really like the idea of the Get Good series. Even though we've run into some frustration with Streets of Rage 2, or Streets of Rage Remake, I should say, I really like the concept. It's a really cool idea to go back and maybe challenge myself with some games I couldn't beat before, or beat them a certain way or whatever. I just think it's super cool. So we're gonna keep doing that, and we're gonna expand into other ones in the future. Once I've either done my goal on Streets of Rage Remake, or if I just give up. And there's gonna be times where I probably do give up. We'll see. And if we do give up, we'll just kill that series and we'll just move on to another one. I would like to explore other series ideas, like kind of like how I do like I don't know. Not exactly like faffing about. I should mention, Stick Fiddlers is going to remain the same. That's still going to be the arcade-focused retro showcase. Like anything that I can play with a arcade/fight stick is going to go into that category. So Stick Fiddlers is staying the same. But back to the other series, I'd like to entertain other ideas. Like I have one idea, two ideas actually. I want to make 2 separate playlists for Sega CD, and kind of make a little mini series for each, with one playlist being why the Sega CD was awesome, and another playlist for why it was so bad. What could have been or whatever. Call them Retro Showcase specials. Special showcases, something like that. It's an idea I've been kind of toying with for a while. I have another idea also for concerning the AEW video game. I've had this idea where once I figure out when the actual release date is finally, I was thinking of doing a full month of just, in this case, Retro Showcase of old wrestling games, a different one each day. But I'm thinking of doing it 21 days instead of a month, to fit in with AEW's casino theme, because that's how the promotion started, was on a bet. Well, at least that's how the lore goes. That's not quite right, but it's the popular story people go with. And 21 being a popular casino number, go with that. 21 days of wrestling games. And this series already has a name. They call it Wrestle Load, based on a joke from if anybody here listens to Wrestling Observer Radio or Wrestling Observer Live, the shows they did, the name comes from Brian Alvarez's grandmother, lovingly referred to as just Granny, misreading something wrestling related and calling it Wrestle Load. And it's just the fucking funniest name I've ever heard for like a wrestling show. It's just called Wrestle Load. So that's what this is called. Wrestle Load. But we'll see. And finally, I just want to thank all you guys. You guys are amazing. The likes, the views, everything's gone up. You guys have said such nice things and engaged with me. Not every video, but I at least get likes every video, which is a far cry from where I was a year ago. Sometimes I would upload a bunch of videos and a few people would view it and that's it, and there's nothing. Now I'm at least usually in the 10s for views, which again, that sounds like nothing. But to me, that's the world. It's working. I'm getting subscribers slowly, but it's happening. But who knew? Putting in effort worked. Just imagine if I would have done this years ago when I first started. Maybe, I doubt it'd still be anything major, but maybe I'd be at 10K or something. Maybe I'd be, somewhat successful. I don't know. But it is what it is, and I just want to increase engagement, talk to you guys more. I took a big break from streaming every week like I was. Just a bad stretch of work. That's all the only way I can describe it. But I hope to get back into that soon. But at least for now, we're going to get videos every day on YouTube. I've already got the next 2 weeks ready to go, already uploaded. And after I'm done here, I might go ahead and record a little bit of something. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But yeah, if it wasn't for you guys, I would just be more of a lonely dork, just saying nothing as I play video games alone in my room. With you guys here, it makes it feel like I'm doing something entertaining. Give me a chance to talk about my love of video games and sharing it with the world. It's you guys make this a lot more fun. So thank you very much. You guys are wonderful. And that's it, I guess. Thank you guys for everything, and stay tuned. We got some fun stuff coming up in the future, I hope. So I will catch you guys then. Thanks for listening.